In today's gaming news, Hitman Absolution launches tomorrow with mixed reviews, the next console generation has arrived, Double Fine opens up their creative process to gamers, and Final Fantasy XIV shuns free-to-play. Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. It is Monday, November the 19th, and my name is Force, here with today's gaming news. First up today, reviews for Hitman Absolution, a title set to launch tomorrow, have already been posted, and unfortunately so far, opinions are pretty mixed. Agent 47 returns in IO Interactive's most recent installment to the Hitman franchise, Hitman Absolution. The game is set to launch tomorrow, but with many outlets receiving early copies, reviews have already been posted. Opinions on the title range from impressed with the new direction to disappointed in the changes made to the classic Hitman formula. And in possibly related news, Square Enix has announced that an online pass is no longer required to gain access to the Contracts mode, a multiplayer mode that lets players compete in self-made challenges. It comes as no surprise that Square Enix is offering Contracts mode for free now and no longer requiring an online pass after the reviews have been fairly lukewarm. Now I'll be taking a look at this title tonight at midnight once it officially launches, and I'll be sure to do a first 40 at some point tomorrow to give you guys some initial impressions, add that to the reviews already out there, and it should help you decide whether or not this title is going to be worth your money. Next up in news, the next generation of consoles has officially started with the launch of the Wii U. The Wii U launched in North America yesterday, officially kicking off the next generation of consoles. Nintendo continues their tradition of not focusing on high-end horsepower, but rather looking to provide a new and interesting gaming experience with their system. The console comes with a slew of new features, including the gamepad, which allows players to play games without their TV, and Nintendo Network, which is Nintendo's response to Xbox Live and PSN. The launch lineup includes major titles like Assassin's Creed 3, Black Ops 2, Darksiders 2, Nintendo Land, and Zombie U. So the Wii U is officially here, and I'll be interested to know how many of you guys are deciding to pick one up. I myself might end up getting one this holiday season if it happens to go on sale. Although given the fact that the system was just launched right before Black Friday, I'm not sure if that's actually going to happen. Nevertheless, I'll be keeping an eye out, and even if it doesn't go on sale, it's still fairly decently priced, especially given the fact that next year's likely launch of the next Xbox and PlayStation will be significantly higher. Next up in news, Double Fine has opened up their creative process to creating games to us, the gamers, allowing us to take a sneak peek into what actually occurs and vote on the process. Double Fine has revealed and decided to open up their internal game jam process known as Amnesia Fortnight. Amnesia Fortnight is a creative event at Double Fine where the team is split into small groups and tasked with making a game in just 2 weeks. Of all the games made, one is selected to be worked on and completed for an eventual full release. Double Fine has opened up this process to us gamers, allowing us to vote and put money towards our favorite ideas, which will eventually be made into 4 different prototypes. When the prototypes are completed, contributors will receive a copy. Leave it up to Double Fine to come up with some crazy idea that's really interesting and engaging. I'm looking forward to going through this process and picking the games that I enjoy and seeing which ones actually come to fruition and eventually become a full-on product. And last up in news today, the reboot of Final Fantasy XIV A Realm Reborn has shunned the idea of going free-to-play. Final Fantasy XIV has been taken temporarily offline as Square Enix works on the game's re-release in A Realm Reborn. A Realm Reborn looks to address several issues with Final Fantasy XIV, although according to an interview with VG247, the game is not going free-to-play like many other MMOs of late. In the interview, producer Naoki Yoshida said they are sticking with the subscription model to honor past commitments to their player base of being able to play 24/7, 365 days in the year for paying a subscription fee. He said they are sticking to that model in hopes to regain the trust of their players, and went on to say that free-to-play doesn't work for every game. So there you have it, guys. A Realm Reborn is going to be subscription-based and won't be going free-to-play, which raises an interesting question. Can B and potentially C-grade MMOs actually afford to charge a subscription? In fact, if you take a look at the majority of the MMOs currently thriving on the market right now, with the exception of World of Warcraft, aren't most of them free-to-play or at least have a free-to-play option? And I'll be interested to see how successful they actually are with this title in not being free-to-play. Of course, there are pros and cons to both models, and I personally, over time, have come to prefer the subscription base just because I think overall it offers a better experience, and I don't feel like I'm being cheated. Even though I suppose I am paying every month, I just really generally don't like the idea of free-to-play for the most part. There are of course exceptions for me, and most notably being Firefall, a free-to-play MMO that is upcoming that I'm really enjoying, but overall, I think subscription base is my personal preference. What I want to know from you guys today is, what do you think of the free-to-play versus subscription-based models, and how do you think Final Fantasy XIV A Realm Reborn will fare in not being free-to-play? I'd like to know your general opinions on the two type of MMO models, and which one you prefer. Alright guys, that's going to do it for today's episode of the Force Feed. As always, thank you so much for watching. Once again, this has been Force, and you've just been force-fed. And let us not forget the biggest difference between free-to-play and subscription games. Free-to-play games are filled with a bunch of immature babies, and subscription-based, a bunch of entitled whiny brats.